With the halfway mark in the NFL season past us, a Halloween matchup on Thursday night featured one team going in a different direction and the other team possibly looking for a way out. But as Halloween usually does it, and Thursday night does it, there's always a few surprises lingering. Would we get a trick or a treat tonight? Or maybe a little of both. Stay tuned to find out on Gridiron Gab Pro Style.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned.
Come on, Dirt! Don't do it! Woo! No way! Woo! 85! Crying out loud! You're making me, driving me nuts!
But behold.
Welcome back, Gabbers. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. I am the one and only Mr. CeeLo. And guys, I must tell you that I have not been back on my show for 1 week, and already I am getting some love as we will check out. Like I always like to do, we will check out what's going on around the place. We'll do a little bit of housekeeping. As I had a couple of comments on my show that I did about the trade of Deontay Johnson. Now, as expected, I figured we were going to have some individuals that were going to comment, and it's mostly Ravens fans. And I try to keep the negativity to a minimal, but you got some people that don't understand that the English language is more than just profanities, per se. Aiden Carter, was it 8755? If another team signs Deontay Johnson after this year, the Ravens could get a compensatory pick at a higher value than the fifth that they traded for him. So, sir, you do not understand. And you should not be talking. You do not understand ball and should not be talking. Okay. Now, Aiden, here's the reality, okay? You're in a run for a Super Bowl, okay? Compensatory picks should not be your priority at this junction at all.
Bruh.
Okay? The reality of it is you're going for a Super Bowl. This whole, they can get a better pick here, however much money they give them for. So? You're not looking for the draft. You're looking for somebody that can get you to the next level. And a wide receiver that arguably is a number one, could be a number one, a high-end number two, is not what you need. What you need to do is hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, like I said.
Dumb shit. Dumb shit.
Which leads me to the next comment. Grace Saku, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm probably going to delete your comment because I don't like the profanity on my show. I keep it clean. Zombie turds. The Ravens got him for practically nothing. This take makes no sense. Plus, if you would actually have watched the Ravens-Browns game, you'd know the offense and Henry's carries had absolutely nothing to do with the Ravens losing. Clueless. Yeah, it did. It did. You can. I mentioned this in the game. Yeah, Kyle Hamilton had a drop. But let me help you out with something, zombie turd. If you run the football, it keeps the ball out of hot Jameson Winston's hands.
You fucking idiot.
You get, run, clock, run, clock.
Run.
Every other game that they've won, he's had major touches. See, I don't even watch your team that much. I watch them, but not like you guys do. And you don't even know your own team. Your identity is run the football. Don't you get it? Your 3 losses came because you're trying to throw the football. Stop it. Stop it. This is not a take. I'm giving you real reasonings behind why this should have not taken place. The Ravens should not be looking to add another player. You're saying they added him for practically nothing. That's on the Carolina Panthers. You need to be figuring out who you can add to win a Super Bowl. This is the question that each of you needs to ask yourself. What does Deontay Johnson bring to an offense that is predominantly a run offense? What are you going to have another top-notch wide receiver there like you had with Odell Beckham that didn't do anything? Marquise Brown. You've had your share of great wide receivers in Baltimore. And say, oh, he ain't got no wideouts. Oh, yes, he has. And what do they all do?
Bruh.
Good comments, though. But you tried to explain it. I give you props on that. You tried to explain it. But when you're a championship contender, why are you looking for compensatory picks? No sense at all. You need to be figuring out how you can get a much more efficient pass rush. That's what you need to be doing. Not trading for wide receivers that you're not going to use and you can possibly get a compensatory pick for.
Duh.
When you might get bounced in the division, or you might get bounced before when you get in the AFC title game, or you get bounced in the Super Bowl. Because whether Lamar Jackson wins the MVP or not, no Super Bowl is bust for them. And if that's your team, your team. Now let's get to the Halloween classic for tonight. The Houston Texans and the New York Jets. Now, watching this game was a lot of fun, but DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud are going to absolutely be sick. They're going to be sick because the reality of this is Keenan Williams had a field day. Well, if he wasn't disrupting things in the backfield, he was just absolutely putting pound after pound on CJ Stroud. Michael Clemens had 2 sacks. Jamie and Sherwood had 2 sacks. Solomon Thomas had a sack. Hassan Reddick got a half. But they had a grand total of 8 sacks in this game. And it was amazing that CJ Stroud did not throw a single interception in this game. And look, I said it. I get it. Mixon had 24 carries, 106 yards. I get it. But the problem with this game plan is Bobby Slowick did not understand that he needed to not just run right at the Jets. He didn't give him any kind of motion. He didn't give him any kind of movement. It was just like, nah. And here's the thing. Stroud was 11 for 30. That's not counting the 8 sacks. So you threw the ball 38 times, 39 counting the one that Joe Mixon threw. I said they needed to run the football. You got 106 yards, and even Stroud had 59 yards on the ground. This would have been one of those games. I know you don't like this, Slowick, but this would have been one of those games where C.J. Stroud is running the football.
Damn you!
Oh, yeah. It's one of those games that he has to run the football. Dale had 6 grabs for 126 yards. Great. But you didn't have a single touchdown pass. And to me, this was a huge spot in the game. When we look back at it, look at the totality of the game statistic-wise. The Texans had the football for 33 minutes and 42 seconds. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the things that went down in this game. Like, there was a play where Garrett Wilson made a phenomenal catch of the year. And I remember hearing something earlier this year that there was a guy who caught a touch, would have been a touchdown, but they said he didn't get 2 feet in bounds. I don't know if they changed the rule all of a sudden, but Wilson only got the same foot down twice. But They did not give that guy a touchdown. I don't remember who that was. If you guys remember who that was, please let me know. But he got the same foot in twice. They didn't give him a touchdown. So I'm trying to figure out. When I saw it, I was like, ugh. Heck of a grab, but he's not going to get the touchdown. But then they reversed it, and I was just like, what is that? Ooh, and that, to me, that changed the tide of the game. That really turned the tide of the game into their favor. And then you look at the 4 red zone visits they had, and they didn't get anything. And you have to score. Kaimi Fairburn is usually Mr. Automatic. I think it was inside of 45, and this guy missed. And yeah, that's huge. You take those misses that he had, and this is a totally different ball game. And Stroud got stripped on one play. That was a huge game changer. And I was really glad in a sense that the Jets won this game, because Malachi Corley would have been absolutely ripped the next day. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He would have got straight up toasted the next day. You're looking at, like I said, Kaimi Fairburn. If he makes those 2 kicks, it's 21-19, and Stroud and company just need a field goal to win this game. So it was the Texans in a lot of ways that looked a lot like the Jets tonight. And guys, I told you on the show there was a possibility that Halloween was going to play the game. And what did it do? It played the game. And yeah. Breece Hall had 74 yards on the ground. I mean, as a team, the Jets had 100 yards. The Texans total had 187 yards rushing. And they still lost this game. But it's like I said, Bobby Slowick. Look, you should have seen from snap one, this was going to be a tough game, because honestly, when you look at this Texans team, this outside of Laramie Tunsil, they've got a couple of good guys in Blake Fisher and company that play well on the offensive line. But you look at Jarrett Patterson didn't play tonight. And Kenyon Green was just getting absolutely eaten up. And he ended up leaving this game. But I will say this. I think ultimately, this is a huge hole for this Texans offense. Is that position right there, that left guard position with Jarrett Patterson out. They're going to have to get some depth there, because, as I said, Kenyon Green just got absolutely ate up in this game, and it is not even right. But it wasn't just him. I mean, you saw the weakness in this Texans defense even when he went out of the game. So if the Texans are going to be competitive, in a lot of teams, this is a copycat league. When they see it, they're going to exploit it. But let's talk about the Jets. Aaron Rodgers looked really bad, and the fans of New York, which I got to tell y'all, look, y'all gotta stop being brats. Y'all about to be as bad as the Philadelphia fans. I'm sorry. I mean, stop crying. I mean, listen, I get it. But sitting here booing them ain't going to make it work any better, I promise you. Rodgers finally seemed to get it together. That touchdown that I think really who got him on track, you can thank the guy that all week since this whole debacle last weekend happened, Mr. Garrett Wilson, the guy whom everybody was looking at was going to be the guy that was going to go bye-byes. Everybody was looking at him as being the odd man out. And just some other news that we heard coming on the air, that Jets wide receiver Alan Lazard has been placed on IR. So more than likely, Mike Williams will not be on the go, because he will more than likely be a huge part now with Lazard being out, more than being a large part of the rotation now. But Rodgers was 22 of 32, 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. But it did not look good early. It looked like the Texans were just going to dominate this game, and they were running the football efficiently. I still can't get over the fact of how well I called that. It looked like Danico Autry was going to run this game after Will Anderson went out of this game. I think he came back a little bit, but he was very ineffective. But yeah, I mean, this was not one of those games where you looked up and you saw Daniil Hunter or Will Anderson just absolutely just dominating and dictating this game. You saw Danico Autry had those 2 sacks, as I said, and had 3 tackles. He was big, but outside of that, you really didn't see much on this Texans defense. Tim Settle had a tackle for a loss. Jalen Petrie had 2 tackles for loss. Toa had 2 tackles for losses. But overall, you saw a Jets defense that came to play, and they really put their stamp on this game despite giving up a lot of yards on the ground. And this is what I cannot understand. As much push as they were getting off the offensive line when they were running the ball, I don't understand why you didn't stick with it. There were so many big runs that these guys had. The only way I'm throwing the footballs unless it's an absolute must. But impressive win, and Garrett Wilson, to me, not Devontae Adams, is the leader of this team. As I said, Adams had 7 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. That impressive 37-yard where he broke away for the touchdown. That was a very well thrown ball by Aaron Rodgers. One of the best balls I've seen him throw as a Jet. And Garrett Wilson is just phenomenal. I still have questions about that catch because, like I said, I recall correctly, if I recall correctly, there was a play like that last week, and it was ruled not a catch because you have to get 2 feet in bounds, not the same foot. So I don't know if that's going to be a situation that the NFL is going to want to look at. I will say this. I think now with the way this game showed, and it's going to be a situation where the Texans need to actually search for someone to go with Tank Dell. And John Mechie was ineffective. He had 2 targets, no grabs. They're going to have to figure out a way to get him involved. Like I said, Dell 6 grabs, 126. They're going to need another guy. But big win by the Jets. They said they're not dead yet. But hit me up, you guys. Let me know what you thought about the Jets and the Texans on Halloween. Let me know what you guys did on Halloween night. You see what I'm doing. I'm talking to you guys. But leave your comments down below. What did you think about this game? What did you think about Bobby Slowick's play calling? Did you think that the Garrett Wilson touchdown should have been a touchdown? Do you think that the Jets have a chance now that it looks like they've gotten their 2-headed receiving core, monster core going? And also go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and check out the other things that I'm involved in. But until the next time, happy Halloween. Y'all stay safe. Be sure to join us back here. Same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here, an army that has the will to challenge and the will